Welcome back, everyone. So we are now playing in round number 8 here in Norway Chess. Of course, yesterday was a rest day, so there are no games. Today I'm playing with the black piece against Nodarbek Abdusattorov, as I usually do. I will talk about the other games first. That way, there will be no fun edits or cuts. So first and foremost, in the game between Gukesh and Tari, Gukesh has played the classic London system. He's basically just trying to get Tari out of theory, out of preparation, just play chess, no computers, no prep, none of this nonsense that modern chess generally is. So that's the first game. Now the game between Magnus and Hikaru, we have a pretty standard Queen's Gambit decline so far. A big question whether Magnus will play c5, whether he'll play the knight bd7 variations here, since Shaq has played bishop f4 and e3. But it's definitely going to be dynamic, I think, in that game. The game between Wesley and Fabiano, is the Nimzo Indian, this classic bishop d2 e3, which I've actually played a lot of in recent times. So again, very early, hard to know what's going to happen in that game. I assume Wesley will be well prepared, but Fabiano definitely wants to put some pressure on him. So that's the third game. And then what is the other game that I'm forgetting? There's one other game. Yes, there's Ali Reza's game against Anish Giri. And Ali Reza played e4, e5, knight e3, knight e6, and g3. A very similar situation, I think, where Ali Reza is just sick and tired of playing theory. And Anish, obviously one of the best prepared players out there. So he's just trying to avoid theory and play chess once again. And then, of course, we come to my game against Nodarbek, and we have the same opening that we had in my first round game against Wesley. So up to this move knight c4. Now, I'm not actually sure if knight c4 has been played before. I have looked at this line, obviously, in the past, even prior to the game against Wesley. But I figured out of the possible moves which are playable, it's probably the most obscure, the most unnatural looking move. So that's why I chose to play it out of the 4 possibilities in this position. So I'm pretty happy with what I've done. Now, the fact that Nodarbek is thinking is potentially very good for me, but also potentially not very good for me, because one of the downsides to this game is that Nodarbek lost his previous 2 games. So he lost to, Fabiano, and then he lost to Wesley. Some very, very bad games. I mean, the game against Wesley was sort of just inexplicable, I guess you could say, for a player of Nodarbek's caliber. And so having lost 2 in a row, I was a little bit worried that he might try to be more solid in this game. And unfortunately, it turns out like that intuition is right. So I have a feeling either Nodarbek is going to spend a lot of time looking for something creative to keep the game going, or very likely this game is going to peter out into a draw. Sort of, you never know with Nodarbek. He's a player who can be very aggressive. He can also be very solid. I think in terms of the overall tournament standings and looking for something exciting, it's for me objectively very bad that he lost 2 in a row, because certainly his confidence is down. He's not feeling as good about himself, and so it's a lot less likely that he wants to take the risks. And when you also consider the fact that tomorrow he has to play with the black piece against Magnus, I mean, it could very easily turn into a situation where he loses 4 games in a row to finish the tournament. Obviously, nobody wants that, and so I think as far as my game goes, probably I'm expecting he's probably going to play something very conservative, like c3 and knight d2, or something to trade the pieces. b3, knight b6, he can play c4 or a4. Both these moves have been haven't been played, I guess you could say, but are playable either way. Again, as far as I recall, the position should be completely fine. So it is what it is. I'm not super happy, but life goes on, and that's that. So I'll probably be back later. And if I'm not back later, that means I'm playing an Armageddon inside the next 30 minutes. So cheers.